Welcome, horror fam, to HHN365, the Halloween Horror Nights podcast. My name is Mike, and I'm here with my co-hosts Jess and Jonathan. No Duff today. Kind of threw me off.
I know. I was like, wait, what are our names? Who's
Yeah.
here?
On today's show, we will be having a bit of a retrospective over announcement season and speculation season, and kind of take a look back at the last couple of months while we get ready for our hype list next week. But before we get to that, you can always find us on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at HHN365, and on TikTok at HHN365pod. We have an amazing Discord. The link is in the description. And we have a merch shop at HHN365.com. You can leave us a voicemail at 407-906-4134. We have some things to go over first, though. Thank you, anyone who joined us for our latest YouTube Live. I wasn't there, but I heard it went great.
It was really good. It was Duff and I, and we talked about is it Beijing? Who had the announcement with Jack?
Beijing.
It was
Beijing. So we talked about that. We talked about some things we're going to talk about on this episode. So I won't spoil it, but it's always a good time. So I think we'll have probably one more before the event. I don't want to promise anything, but
Also, this is our last time to talk about our 365 live trivia, which is going to be Friday, the 23rd at 8 p.m. at Half Barrel Beer Project. As a reminder, that is 9650 Universal Boulevard, Orlando, Florida. And it is sponsored this year by Horrors Untold, which you can find them at horrorsuntold.com, which is a first of its kind immersive mystery created by HHN fans for HHN fans. Be sure to sign up for more information coming soon. Now let's talk about a little bit about trivia. What we have going on, guys?
I mean, I think after last year, or not last year, excuse me, our last trivia, which I think was it April, March,
somewhere around there.
the one we had approximately 6 months ago, we did a costume contest for the first time, and y'all showed up and showed out. So we are bringing back the costume contest.
Yeah, that was great. That was very well received. We had like a whole train. It was like a love train going.
Yeah,
You made them do a conga line.
We did our best America's Next Top Model strut through Half Barrel. So it can be a group contest or a group costume, excuse me. That's who won last time. We had a whole icons group. So it doesn't have to be HHN, it could be anything, but HHN specific obviously goes well with the crowd, and those are the judges. So if you're interested in that, definitely come out.
Yeah, and in addition to that, we also are going to have some cool things, including an exclusive beer, like we always do. We can't really give a lot of information on that yet. You're going to have to wait and see and follow our socials to find out what that is, and you know what you're going to experience at the event itself. And we're also going to have some HHN inspired food, which same thing. Make sure to check our socials before the event starts to see what might be on the menu or what specific HHN related things might be on the menu. And yeah, it's going to be really, really cool.
Definitely. I am so excited of this every year. And it's only getting more and more exciting and big. Get there early as always, and come and have a good time.
All right. So now are we ready to get to the news and rumors segment of the episode?
Yeah, definitely. There's not a lot of more rumors to talk about, right? Mostly like everything to be announced has mostly been announced, right?
Yeah, either, officially or by a sign hanging in City Walk, which I mean, I think that's a good transition, right? To
What sign, Jonathan? I don't know what you're talking about.
no sign. What do you know? It's just
There's a second sign, I think, today. I saw.
Oh my god! And there's little signs too, like across the, across the top of it. Of course, we're talking about in HHN Orlando, this segment, but particularly City Walk right now. If you go to Universal Orlando Resort, you go to City Walk at the Dead Coconut Club, that location. The theme has been revealed, and the theme doesn't say explicitly, but we have vampire fangs. So it could be either just vampires in general, or vamp, or something along those lines. But the thing we do have very clearly, they make sure to spell it out for us, is of course Blumhouse. It's back again, the third time. Actually, yeah, maybe the third or fourth in the same year. we have another Blumhouse thing, and it's taking over part of the Dead Coconut Club. And how are we feeling about that?
I'm excited for Vamp. I am not gonna lie. To have a Vamp themed Dead Coconut Club, that is really they're really exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Blumhouse, it's a good place to have some photo ops. It can make the scare zone a little less congested. Like that would be nice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get why they're doing it. Makes sense.
Yeah. I mean brand synergy. Wasn't last year when we had that whole like Blumhouse Fest and then there were the photo ops on City Walk for a while?
Yeah, I think
It,
Yes.
we had Blumhouse Fest like 2 years, but like last year was the one like you were saying that it really ramped up, and there was like that experience where you can go in and take pictures of the Exorcist, like do Exorcist Believer,
mm,
that like little pose, and
yeah.
Megan in Five Nights at Freddy's. They really went all out for that last year.
So yeah, I mean this is just another you don't have to pay for a theme park admission to experience it. So that's a cool way to get just the general public with some IP stuff. So that's good for the IP, good for Universal. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm with Mike. I'm just here for the vamps. I hope that because Dead Coconut Club, there can be a very distinct split. You could do something on the first floor, something on the second floor.
Mm-hmm.
I think all of us, the HHM fans, and all of us really want Vamp to be on the first floor with the 2 bars and more space.
Yeah.
Shove Blumhouse on the second floor. But then also, if you put Blumhouse on the second floor, Megan could do like dances on the balcony for City Walk and draw like a big ass crowd.
Oh my God.
Oh.
She can't do flips up there, but like they could just throw a Megan up there. Or maybe this is where we see a Five Nights at Freddy's character because they can control how many people and it's in air conditioning.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
That's
That
just
makes
kind of where
sense.
my brain goes. I don't know, but this makes Dead Coconut kind of like more intriguing to me this year how they blend these two.
Yeah, because usually the theme is just the same. The top floor has like a slightly different theme, but they're all the same general environment. This one, it's a complete split. Vampires do not work with Blumhouse. Like it's just complete, just complete 50-50 split. So I agree with you. I'm curious how they pull it off. But like you guys have said, I could not be more excited for the vamp section or vampire section, whatever it actually ends up being. Right now, it's technically just fangs that are announced. But if goes in the vamp direction, like I'm hoping, and I think we're all hoping it does, that's such a perfect like theme considering all the vamp zones are like fun interaction, dancing, and music. So like that's kind of a no brainer for a club like this, and I'm excited to see it in action and to see how it actually ends up being during the event.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited. I'm getting excited in general this year. It is just at the time of the recording this, like a week and a half away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we are 12. Well, I guess today's over, so it's 11 days now
Yeah,
till opening night. Team member preview is only 8 days away
I
from when we're
Wild.
know.
recording this. People are going to be in houses with scare actors in
That's
8 days.
crazy. Yeah,
Oh,
and then
so,
a couple of days after that is Premium Scream, and then you have opening night.
oh my God, it's crazy. I have someone in my house going to team member preview. I told him I will kill him if he spoils anything. I have to go 3 days. That's like torture here.
Honestly, a lot has been spoiled due to Twitter
Mhm.
for me. So it's one of those things this year. Spoilers aplenty. I
You
try to
can't avoid
avoid
them.
them, but it's only going to get worse from here, I think.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna see the scare zones in 8 days. There's no avoiding it,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
Speak
unfortunately.
Speaking of spoilers, I forgot to put this on the outline, but I think it was important to mention because it was kind of on the hush hush. But it looks like some annual pass holders, kind of like randomly, I
Oh
don't know if anyone
yeah.
applied for anything, are getting an exclusive 2-house Unmasking the Horror tour with houses that I'm pretty sure are not on the current 3 house that we
What?
have.
Just
Hmm.
like a free thing?
Yeah, look, I mean, it looks, I don't think they're paying for anything. It just like, I've seen emails being flying around going like, hey, you've been, selected for a, sort of it was called something specific. It didn't say straight up Unmasking the Horror Tour. It had like something
Pass
before.
holder appreciation thing. That's
Not
cool.
even, I think it was like a mock Unmasking the Horror. Like it was very much like this is a fun
like a
test thing that we're doing to, I guess, give the guides of the Unmasking Horror Tour maybe a little bit more practice with annual pass holders for some of those particular houses. I wouldn't be surprised if like every person got a different set. If it's two, there's just just sort of split up in a certain way between the 6 houses. I mean, I don't know. How do we feel about this? Because I think this is actually a very cool way to do some tests. Since we're already seeing the houses early anyway.
Yeah, that's cool.
I don't. Okay, so I have a counter question for both of you. I think it's a really cool thing. Would you accept it before the event? You personally?
Me no, because I have decided that even doing the tour, like if I'm going to do the tour, I'm going to do it at the end of the season, because just going through it in general kind of takes a little bit of the magic away from me. I'm not going to lie. I've done the tour the last couple of years and just not quite the same after seeing kind of how it was, see it with the lights on and seeing everything up close. So I think I would definitely not do it before I would ever get to run, and I think moving forward I'm going to wait probably till late October if I'm going to do the tour again.
That's fair.
See, that's like the rational line of thinking, and the choice that I should make. However, if Universal came to me in an email saying we're giving you a free like 2-house tour completely on the house, I don't know if I would be able to object that. Like as much as I don't want to see spoilers, as much as I don't want to get the houses spoiled for myself. Like I'm thinking about how much that's worth and like how much the 3 house costs, and you're just taking 1 off, you're getting 2. It's just like I don't know if I'd be able to turn that down just for like the value in me, like the price value of like money I would be saving.
Yeah,
that is very true. And that's a very unique experience too, because you're like, I don't know if they're ever going to do this again. And I got the golden ticket email. Like I can't not go. Like
I was going into a week ago when Unmasking started. I was going to avoid all spoilers. And then within 1 hour of people being in the fucking houses, everything was spoiled for me. Like I saw into triplets, I saw into museum, and I saw into slaughter within like 3 scrolls. Yeah. And I tried to stop each time, and it like just kept popping up, and you thought I would have put the phone down, but I just kept forgetting it was my day off. Come on. Yeah. I'm just chilling. Same. So at this point, I would just accept it because I've seen into all these fucking houses. Like, just show me 2 more at this point. It doesn't matter. If I open my YouTube app right now, there's a team member with a fucking thumbnail of the triplets facade. No blur, nothing. You just see the whole facade, and I'm trying to hide it from the people who live with me who have actually avoided spoilers. So I'm like, I don't know how to I think I actually ended up just clicking play on it today so it would clear off the fucking algorithm, like the front page.
Just block that person.
Yeah, I'm like, how do I do that for my TV? Figure it out. But yeah, I think I would do it at this point. I know I would. So it's interesting that they're testing this out.
Speaking of something that they've tested out for a while. Look at my transitions today, but it didn't. Don't think we're doing it this year. Is that the Cabana Bay every year, for instance, I think 2018. I could be wrong. I think that was the first time they did it with Stranger Things. But they've done like a special HHN themed experience in like one of their, I think like recreational like areas, where inside this little room they put a bunch of photo ops. Every year it's different, but it's usually along the lines of some theme photo ops to a particular property. And you can take pictures. Sometimes the special effects happen in it, and it's usually only available for people who have a hotel, like are in a Universal hotel. It doesn't matter which one you're in, even if you're not in Cabana Bay, as long as you're in a Universal hotel, you can show them your card and you'll get in. But it is currently August 18th, the day we're recording this, and the area that usually holds those experiences, this was thanks to Speculation Matt, who pointed it out on Twitter, by the way, is empty. There is nothing in there at all. And I know those experiences don't take like super long to put up, but considering HHN is less than 2 weeks away now, I think it's pretty safe to say that either nothing is going in there, or if something is, it's not going to be as extensive as it usually is.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, I think it normally takes about, I would say 2 weeks for them to put it up, but by now we would see black curtains and a vinyl saying like why it's closed, because it's a multi-purpose room. It's called like the Fun in the Sun room or something. If you're actually like a Cabana Bay person, it's up by the bowling alley. So if you're there, you can very much see it's open right now and you can just kind of walk in. So I don't think we're getting anything, but I do know that last year all of the Lowe's hotels did like kind of like photo ops, like stand-ups in each of the lobbies, even like oh my god, Dockside and Surfside, which are like different hotels, but like they're both Endless Summer. They each had a different one. So I think that they're gonna do more like lobby-based things again, or like decorations in each hotel, than they are gonna do like Cabana Bay having a concentration of a bunch of things.
I think that's the better approach. I really think it is, because I don't think Cabana Bay needs like a bunch of like, specifically that hotel needs a ton of incentives, because it's Cabana Bay. Like, it just gets a lot of people regardless. It's a good price range, and it's a nice hotel. I think a lot of people want to go there, and I think spreading it out throughout the various hotels is better for mostly everyone. And on a selfish reason, even when I did have a hotel night, for HHN opening night or whatever, or like that week, or even whenever I went, before I lived in Orlando and could just go whenever and didn't need a hotel. I never did that special experience at Cabana Bay because it always opened up at the worst time. It opened up when I'm already in the park getting ready for HHN, and so I never did it, even when I could have. So I'm personally kind of okay it's not coming back, and they're going to spread it out to other things.
Yeah. I'm like not sad to see it go, because also my big thing is it would never really soft open. So that's another issue that I would have with it too, Jonathan. Like you, I wouldn't really get to see it, even because I would stay at Cabana Bay opening weekend or Aventura or something, and it just wouldn't be open. And then also coming back from COVID, 31 or 30, 31, and maybe 32, I'm not sure. Media night started there. So it was actually closed for like 2 or 3 hours and didn't open until like 8 p.m. on opening night. Nobody's going to see it then. Like
No.
everybody's at HHN. It's for the people now, like the families at Cabana Bay at that point. It's not for the HHN people.
Come on, little Timmy, want to go see Chucky? Like,
right. The kids that are like hopped up on sugar that are going to go swim in the pool until they puke and go to bed. Like, it just made no sense to me. So I'm like sad to see it go, because it's another HHN thing, but I don't think we're losing something. I think it's just being spread out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Okay. Right. Are we ready to go for our walk around the park, Jess, for our construction updates?
Oh my God, everybody. I hope we got our walking shoes on. Do we have arch support? Oh, yeah. Good. Okay. Let's stretch, everybody. Get ready.
Got my insoles.
I have my theme park fan on me. I'm not going to lie, like a little behind the scenes. When I go to do construction updates, because Steph and I will share doing the job now that I have an AP again. That is my like workout for HHN. I go do a full lap around the park in like an hour, and I'm like, ooh, walk 2 miles, time to go home.
Oh, I am so out of shape. I need to start doing that this week. So opening weekend does not kick my butt.
Yeah, and just being outside in the humidity, it sucks, but I know it's going to help me be comfortable in 12 days, or more comfortable.
Yeah,
but all right, get started. You got this, Mike. Everybody go out for a walk this week. Go out for 2 walks this week. Let's do some HHN prep. I don't want to see us all dying on the 30th. Well, we can all collectively die together, but it better be inside of a house. It's not going to be on a bench. We're not taking breaks this year, guys, especially if we don't got Express.
There's no time.
There's no time. Jonathan's going to be running around the park. I'm never going to see you this year, dude.
No, without Express, I was like, I got to stand by. It's time to go. Like, just even the little waiting I did, like when I had Express, now that's gone. It's like, nope, got to hit that house.
Oh, well, let's walk around the park together before we won't do this again virtually. So, I can't remember if I think this has gone up since last time we spoke, but the Halloween Horror Nights neon sign is up on the Trust Gang. It's back right at the front of the park, and it does have handrails, and it has the same staircase that Oddfellow went up. So Sinister and Surreal, they're definitely going to be there for opening ceremonies.
Love to hear that. I think that was I only got to see the opening ceremony once, and it was like before the event started technically. But I thought it was such a cool element to have the icon right up there so everyone could see him. There was no really bad spot. Everyone could see him. Everyone can hear what he had to say. And it's a great way to introduce every guest. Some guests who don't know what an icon is and are just coming to see Ghostbusters, introduce them to some new characters and get them, to understand why HHN is important. And there's so much more than just, the houses. So I think it's a great thing, and I'm happy they're continuing with it.
Yeah, same. I hope we get more soon because, excuse me, there's not a lot. That's really all we have so far is that truss. So I don't know if we will.
I know does the parade go through here, like this area?
Yes, because it goes past like the Universe store and turns past Minions. So we could have something like Oddfellow's Caravan back there, but we couldn't have anything like in the street like the trunks were last year.
They'd have to either roll a bunch of stuff out before the event starts. There's not going to be we're not going to see huge props pop up like they did before.
No, and that also something to consider is we never had a scare zone up there. We had it over, down a little bit more on like Production Central. So this is now double the amount of stuff they potentially would have to pull out from Esoteric. So they would have to pull all the stuff all the way from Esoteric to the front of the park nightly before they got the Demon Queens. Yeah. So then Demon Queens would be held up until Duality got set up. At least what would make sense to me and how I've seen them set up the parks before. I don't know.
Interesting. I guess we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to find out what they do there.
I know that team member preview is a big night for them to like do all of that logistically for the first time without actual crowd or with crowds, excuse me, because they do it during dress rehearsals and stuff like that. But we'll see. We'll hear a lot about it on Twitter, I'm assuming, from the team members.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that first stay and scream. Well, they also will have premium scream. So by the time they get to us on Friday, there should be no kinks.
That's true. Yeah, they have the second day this time.
So Godspeed to everyone going to, is it premium or premiere?
Premium.
I think, yeah.
Premium scream.
Okay. Because it changed the name. Whatever.
I think it changed it and then it went back. I don't know. I'm just calling it Premium Scream Night.
Okay.
Whatever it is.
I checked it earlier today, actually. It is premium. It's listed as Premium Scream.
Okay. Premium Scream. Well, I hope everyone who goes has a great time. Moving on, the next scare zone would be Torture Fair. So we have stages up now with actual torture devices. The Winged Eagle is back, so I'm assuming we're going to see the body from, oh my gosh, Vikings.
Vikings Undead.
Could not think of that. Vikings. So we'll see that again. There's a breaking wheel. There's a brazen bull. There's aim and maim. And I think I'm missing one. But they're really fucking cool. But right now they're being used as benches by everyone in the park. And they don't have signs on them to not sit on, which is... I'm assuming we'll see signs in the next 2 days put on those. But they're up. They look great. The bodies are covered. It looks like we're going to get some water gags back in the scare zones. So I love that. It's giving kind of like Purge goes medieval from what I'm getting right now. And I'm kind of into that.
It's really exciting. Like I try not to look too much at the pictures going on in construction wise because I'm not there currently. But the pictures I've seen from this particular zone, the props, the stages going on, I could not be more hyped. This is incredible. Like I know some people once again were like, this might have been last minute, blah blah blah. These stages are so good. They are so good. It really seems like a completely planned out type of zone, and it's. Looking at it, it's like, I can't believe we didn't get this zone before. Like, I can't believe it took us until this year to get this concept. Because I I think if they put people on the stages and they have them actually be tortured, and it's not just a ton of mannequins, but you actually have some people, getting into the devices and stuff, it's going to be something really special. And I'm really excited for this.
On to next.
All right. So our next thing, Sting Alley, we did have some food booths pop up and now they're themed. This is going to be where the Quiet Place booths are going to be. And it's the same layout as last year with Last of Us. You order on the lagoon side and then you go in. They have the one side for drinks and then the other side for food. I know people have seen like cooking apparatuses in here. I wasn't really paying attention, but I would assume there's like a fryer or a grill. We'll see menus, I assume, this week pop up because I think last year that's when they started as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe the blog post or a podcast. I think we're done, kind of, unfortunately, with the backstory podcasts. I think the next two are going to be like an event preview, maybe, and maybe like a food guide. It sucks, but it's all a marketing thing. It's not. They're not a Halloween Horror Nights podcast. It is a Universal podcast.
I just want an icon one. Like, that's all I want. Just explain the two icons a little bit more.
Oh, I would love that.
Well, that's a great idea.
We'll see, I guess.
I don't. Maybe during the event. Because they can still come out.
They could. I mean, some do come out during the event. Like, I think Bugs was one and Spirits was another that they came out during the event in 31. Yeah. I will say, I called this area being a quiet place a long time ago. The minute there were lights put up and they were red lights, I was like, I think this is a quiet place. I think I even went in the group chat. I'm like, I think this is a quiet place. And you guys were like, maybe. I don't know. So boom, I got it. I got this one.
You know my voice perfectly.
Yeah, I'm like, who is that? Is that Duff?
You nailed it. That's perfect.
I never disagreed. I don't think I agreed. Okay,
makes sense. It's like the Kevin's Ghostbusters thing. Like, it could be.
Yeah,
it's possible.
And it was. Look at that.
It was.
I think it's interesting. I'm curious to see what kind of food a quiet place is. Nothing crunchy, nothing that makes it's all soft. It's all soft. Like nothing solid.
Jello, like
retirement home.
Applesauce. Things that can be slurped.
Wasn't Quiet Place pudding anyways? Didn't we say that?
Yeah. I think it was.
Because it doesn't make noise. Oh no, pudding was Insidious, I think, because of the man who can't breathe, because retirement homes.
That's right.
I remember that conversation vividly on a recent episode. All right, moving on from a Quiet Place food. Sahara Traders had another update. We get those on Fridays. It seems like it's been, I think this is now the third week. More info about these bats in, I think it's New York. I did not look when I went because the parade was going through. So getting into that store was like almost impossible. And with the mummy exiting. So you can see these pictures on Twitter. It's like overgrown now. There's like more glowing eyes. Shit's going down. I have no idea if this goes with the tribute store or not. I think people are like starting to question that a little bit. Almost, it seems. I don't know. What do you think it could be? Do you have an idea, Jonathan?
No, I'm gonna be completely honest here. This is I think the main thing I've tried not to spoil for myself like that much, because I've seen there's a bat with some lighting and there's a lot of newspapers with a lot of like zoom in to read the to read what's on them, and I'm just like, listen, I can just avoid it completely by not zooming in and just waiting till I get there to actually read them like in person. So, and I think that's where the main details about what this is probably gonna lead to or point to are like, that's where those details are. So I'm like, instead of like all the unmasking pictures that you can't avoid because they're just kind of right there, this one is like, I can't read it from this distance, so I'm just gonna scroll past.
This sign can't stop me. I can't read.
Exactly.
That's your approach to spoilers this year?
Absolutely.
You can look at a picture. I can't read an article. I like that approach. It would have helped me a while ago.
Yeah.
I don't know, because not the Earl the Squirrel, but the put yourself in the tribute store thing this year is like non-perishable food items.
Mm-hmm.
this is like an overgrown kind of a thing. It's almost giving me like Seeds of Extinction vibes kind of right now.
Ooh.
I haven't read anything. This is just by like the look of everything. It's like overgrown. I know it says bats and there's like a totem. I have no fucking idea. But I don't know how that goes to the tribute store. Maybe the tribute store is like some kind of like a store that's been overgrown. I don't know. But we'll know in 8 days, I think, or however many days. Somebody will go in that tribute store by then.
Yeah, they usually have a couple of days before, right? As a preview of some sort.
Yeah, I know that I think the AP preview, somebody was telling me it was Thursday, but that's the premium Scream night. So I thought it would be Wednesday. So I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, they'll send an email.
We'll find out soon.
All right, moving on. Major Suites facade now has lighting.
It's so colorful. Like, listen, there's a lot of things about this house that I'm worried about, but the facade and the colors on it, like it's like, sort of purple, like soup, like very bright colors, is not one of them. I think this facade is going to be something really, really special.
I'm excited for this house personally. I can't wait. I obviously could easily be disappointed, but I can't wait for this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited. I think this is gonna be the house that like matches the event merch color wise. Maybe not aesthetically, but I'm really hoping for like a color like explosion in here. I'll be
I
very
could easily see that.
Yeah. So moving on in the park, Blumhouse like is done for the most part. There's been no updates in that area. The zone is the zone. We did see some lighting tests, and I know people were complaining about the little stages with the houses. I know it's a very like simple effect, but it's not vinyl. The like BH, it's like lights. It's cut out lights, and I think that we need to give it a little bit more credit because I think it's really striking at night.
Mm-hmm.
And filled with fog. I think it's going to look cool. It's going to give the vibe that they want it to give. It doesn't have to be the vibe we want. There's still going to be selfies everywhere, but it's not just a vinyl slapped on a house. It is like a cutout with like plastic and lighting behind it. It's going to look fucking cool. Give him more credit than that. It's still HHN Orlando. But there's nothing there. Sorry, Jonathan, what?
No, I was going to say, like, I did see some of the pictures of the lighting too, and while I still don't love that it's a bunch of corporate logos everywhere, here's Blumhouse. I agree that in the with lit up at nighttime, it kind of looks really good. And I was not expecting that from seeing the daytime pictures.
Yeah, it kind of looks shitty in the daytime. I will not deny that, but at night it looks really good. So we'll see with what they put in it. Over by Nightmare Fuel, we do have 2 bars that are getting some kind of like brickwork theming. It's the one that's normally over there by the entrance to Nightmare Fuel, and then across from the Goblins food booth, we also have a bar themed to the same kind of a thing. We also have our first house portals. Well, we think they're house portals, right?
I think so.
We don't have confirmation, but yeah, it's the normal, it's the trust, but there's 2 TV screens on it, which normally there's 1. There's no sign up yet, but we could assume these are for the new tents. So this would be goblins and monsters.
I wonder if they're going to do wait times for Express. Could that be that second sign?
Like Hollywood.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of interesting.
That could be why the second TV is there.
Maybe that could also be why they sold less Express to get a better handle on what the timing of that looks like.
It's very possible. Yeah, Hollywood was like, I remember seeing that when we went. It's like, whoa, what? Like that exists, and it made me even happier we used RIP because like some of the Express wait times were like 2 hours. Like what? This is the Express line. So I'd be interested to see if we implemented that because then, if it was shorter than put on there, people would be very happy and they'd probably overpost it so people wouldn't be like, oh man, Express isn't truthful or whatever, because it'd be like, no, this was the wait time, it said so on the sign here. So it would make sense why they'd want it, if they are probably maybe not, but if they are, why they want to implement something like that.
All right, so moving on in our little walk around the park, we're almost done, but something really interesting has popped up, and now we're getting information from people going on unmasking tours from tour guides. There's construction at the ride exit of the Simpsons ride. Just to the left of it, there has been a wall that's been put up, and tour guides are telling guests that are going on these 3 house unmaskings that that is going to be for tent house exits. So they are building a ramp that flows. They're not saying which tents specifically because there are 4 now. If it's, the old tents, the new tents, or all 4, but that they will be flowed that way out. So that will be a new exit. If this is true, it looks like it pretty much is at this point because that's a lot of construction very quickly, and you can see the tents right there behind it. So I don't know. What do you think about that, Jonathan?
That's interesting because I mean, I guess there is some, there is a way that they can still have some of the exits at near, I guess it'd be DreamWorks now, but I don't think they would, right? If we have this, that might be
Yeah.
an exit, and then I assume the 2 sprung tents that we normally have will exit the same way. I don't know. Will they even use DreamWorks? They might. This might completely make it like so they don't have to.
Yeah, I don't know if they even want people now on like that side of the park because technically we don't have to go over there now. The new tents, we can kind of be kept just as far back as those go. We don't have to go all the way to the parade buildings. We don't have to go around there. And then that would keep us away from the floats for the new parade. And that's going
That's
to still be operating during like before HHN every day.
that's really nice, and that probably means they could throw like some more food booths back there, right? Because I know they always try that, and it always gets a little congested. But
Oh, without any exits or entrance back there, they could. And there's a lot more space now with like the DreamWorks stuff.
yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but it looks like it's a lot more open than Kid Zone was.
It's so colorful though. It is like, whoa. I walked back there and I was like, where's the ball pit? Like, what the fuck?
Where are the cardboard, like, like Woody Woodpeckers, just, the stand-ins,
So yeah, I just learned, Jonathan, that their names are Woody and Winnie is his
Oh.
lady friend. Winnie. Because she dressed up as the Bride of Frankenstein at UOAP night, and I had to know what she was about.
I was gonna say I figured that's how you knew because all those pictures were circulating around. It's fun,
but I don't know if we'll get food booths back there. There's nothing there yet, but what is in that area? Well, not in that. Yeah, I guess in that area, we know what the animal actors' food booths are going to be themed to, and they are
oh my god,
Sinema themed. They're Carrie Drive-In.
oh my god. I mean, it. Of course, we were expecting something Slaughter Cinema, right? Like the originals get food booths. Like it's what happens now. But I think seeing it like on a picture of it existing, like I don't know what it was, but it kind of blew my mind and filled me with like nostalgia of like going through that first house again.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And it's gonna have like obviously it's gonna be a bar. You're gonna have some bar stuff happening over there. I'm sure that's what that area is made for the most. But it also has spooky popcorn. Like it has a popcorn machine that looks like it's real and works, which means theoretically you can go to the animal actors area or now Slaughter Cinema, food booth / bar, get some popcorn, walk over to Sinema, get in the queue, and then experience the Slaughter Cinema queue, eating some popcorn, getting ready to walk into the movies.
Wouldn't you just get popcorn at the booth by Men in Black that sells popcorn? That's closer to theoretically where the house entrance is going to be.
But it's not Slaughter Cinema popcorn.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to question you, Jonathan.
It's very important. It has to be specifically Slaughter Cinema popcorn. They could give you like if they wanted to be real fun. I don't know if they will be, but if they wanted to be real fun, they can give you like the cups. They have like the popcorn in or whatever. They can make it like sort of a Carrie Drive-In like cup or whatever.
I'm expecting it.
That'd be really cool if they did that. I don't know if they will, but that would be cool.
I'd buy that popcorn that it's expensive and not worth it if it had that like little cup. Like I'd buy that.
Do you think it'll be just regular popcorn, or will it be like in 29 when we had like the green Ghostbusters popcorn? Will it be like bloody Slaughter Cinema popcorn?
Oh, that'd be cool.
Like, I don't know, hot Cheeto dusted popcorn or something. I don't know. Blood splatter.
hope they have a mixture. Like, I hope they can be like, you can either do normal popcorn or whatever this flavor is, and we'll dump a bunch of, like dust on it or whatever and make it this version. I hope they have the choice, because you reminded me of the green popcorn from Ghostbusters, and all I remember is like me eating it. It was the saltiest thing I've ever tasted. Like, I could not eat like after like I had one handful, that was enough. Like, there was no more eating that popcorn for me. So I'd hope that they'd have both options just in case.
Yeah.
Now in 3D, the popcorn.
Ooh, red and blue popcorn.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
What if? Have
Yeah.
you seen? 'Cause I don't know. At AMC, they've been doing this like split tin or like both, and you get like caramel and cheddar popcorn, and that's like the thing lately. I could see HHN doing that, like a sweet and a savory mix, and it being like the wacky Slaughter Cinema 2 shitty B movie mix, like, or something like
Can
that.
it come in a big Christmas tin? Did you
Oh,
guys ever get those Christmas tins
yes.
that comes with a mixture of popcorn?
It would be like a fundraiser at school sometimes. You would
Yes.
sell it in a catalog. Yeah.
Yeah, and it would have
Absolutely.
like regular, it would have cheddar, it would have caramel.
Mm-hmm. But AMC is doing like this mix of it. But ugh. HHN, please don't do that. Do like good flavors. I don't know what that means, but do good flavors.
They're gonna get us all to buy popcorn that is severely overpriced, and they know it. Like, they really know it.
I just hope that whatever beverage we have there, it is delicious.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it's gonna be, but I hope the best for it, because it's gonna have really big shoes to fill, I think.
Mm-hmm.
We're almost done with our walk around the park, guys. We just a couple more steps and we're there. I know it's hot out. This heat is no joke, y'all. Swamp of the Undead. Someone put a hat on the turtle. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, it was.
I know this is not an update, but it's an update.
They're gonna watch them leave it on. They're like, yeah, people are liking this. We're just gonna keep it on. Why not?
Mike, there's like a little tiny turtle in the scare zone, and somebody, I don't know if it is like a little paper hat, but it's like a neon pink little hat that somebody put on the turtle.
Oh, that's cute.
It's adorable. I think that should stay.
Maybe they'll change the hat out every once in a while and give it a different hat.
It's like last year on Unmasking, when after we took it, all the frogs got little tiny hats that were hidden in all the houses.
Oh, okay.
And we didn't get to see the frogs with the hats. We saw the frogs before the hats. And I'm not gonna lie, that makes me, like you said, want to wait to do Unmasking until the end of the year.
Just for the hats.
I miss the frog hats. They made little wizards in Dueling Dragons, and I couldn't take a picture of it. Moving on. Okay. Swamp of the Undead, it's just getting more detailed. This zone is done. Like, there's no way they have anything else to add in here, right?
I mean, it'd be hard to. Like, it looks like every area of that zone, from what I can see, is completely crammed with detail and props and lighting. And I mean, if they added more things, I mean, I don't know where they put it. There's just so much stuff in there.
Yeah. It's a lot. And when you walk through it, it's already cramped during the daytime crowd without fog, without lighting on or off. Too. Yeah. Not that it, like, a lot of it does not obstruct walkways lot, but there's some stuff on the sides. So it's giving kind of Scarecrow minus the barn.
Interesting. Okay.
I'm still very excited.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it in person. I'm ready. It's the one that I can't really gauge what it looks like from photos because there's so much going on in one tiny area. Mm-hmm. So, like, right now I have like an idea. There's a lot of stuff, cool theming. I think when I see it, I'm gonna actually be blown away, like seeing it all come together in one single view instead of 4 separate pictures on Twitter.
It's very overwhelming. I still haven't taken it all in, and I've seen it like 6 times. So I don't blame you. Before we get to the last zone, Battery Park Bar. There are 6 very distinct like bars now set up. So it's 2 sides, 3 bars on each side. There's also 2 mini stages now on the lagoon side.
Oh.
Yeah, when I say mini, they are very tiny. They're smaller than the ones over by where the Peacock Bar was last year, where they have a stage set up right now. They're very tiny. There's like a screen in between them, and there's some fog machines. There's also lighting set up. I don't know what this could be. I know there's some rumors out there. There's a couple different things floating around, but there are 2 mini stages currently. So we'll keep an eye on that, and we'll update you guys this week if there's any changes. But that's something to kind of keep an eye on in the park.
Interesting.
Yeah. Either way, 6 bars. That sounds great to me.
Yeah, a lot of bars this year.
Yeah, and they look like they're gonna be the hand poured bars because there are liquor shelves up there. It's not like the regular HHN bars where it's just open and like keg taps. It looks like liquor shelves, but now we talked about the zone with the most construction. Now let's talk about Demon Queens. There is still 2 lighting trusses and 2 fog machines in that zone, and that's it.
I get it. We understand because of the parade, but after 2 years of like amazing props, being able to just see them be put up and not having to worry about any of that, it kind of it hurts to see that we're not really gonna see pretty much almost anything until the props actually start getting rolled out.
Yeah.
Maybe they've designed stuff that they can bring in and out. Sounds like they have to, because they're still doing the parade during the day on event nights, right?
Yep. At 2 p.m. it'll be on HHN nights instead of 6 p.m. like it is right now.
Gotcha.
So they'll have some time because the parade only takes, I think, about 30 to 45 minutes to finish. It's very fast. Like, it's a very good parade, but it moves. I saw it the other day for the first time. I walked in the park at 6:02, and the parade was already almost at Today Cafe, so that's where I watched it at 6:02 for a 6:00 launch. They were on time. So if you're going to see the parade, be on time or you will miss something. My friend who was 3 minutes behind me missed Back to the Future. So, but it was a really impressive parade. Jonathan, you haven't seen it yet, right?
I haven't yet. No.
Mike, you haven't. I hope you both get to see it soon because it's beautiful.
Yeah, I haven't got to see it. I want to. I really want to.
It made me almost like a little like emotional to see in the time of Epic, where like you hear budget cut this and budget cut that. They really did put effort into this parade. Like, it is impressive. So
yeah, I really want to see it.
Really good. But yeah, Demon Queens doesn't have anything. I could see maybe some stages pop up this week, kind of like in the same style of Vanity Ball where the surgery tables were, or surgery like stages were, I guess, the 2 at the beginning and end of the zone. Because those were during the time of Superstar Parade. So they would be enough out of the way, but I don't know if this zone really needs that or if that's the idea for it. But from what I've heard, they are bringing stuff out, and it's going to be big.
I'm wondering because we're gonna have our hype episode next week, and and stuff like that, and other things relating to hype, and I wonder how having no props in the zone currently is gonna affect it for everyone. Like, where does it actually land compared to other things where we do have props? It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah. Hey guys, Future Jess here. And in typical 365 fashion, the day after we recorded this episode, Horror Nights gave us some information and some lore on the icons for HHN33. So we felt like that was actually really important, and we wanted to include this in this episode, kind of our last one before our hype list episode. So let's get into it. If you didn't see this thread, it was posted by HHN Orlando's Twitter today. It says, for 33 years, the screams of thousands of eager Halloween Horror Nights guests have been collected within the shadowy depths of Universal Orlando Resort. With each year that went by came a new set of frights for our guests to indulge. All the while, their wails of terror fested beneath the billow of fog up on the surface, forming a monstrous manifestation of the horror that lives within their hearts. An evil overgrowth that would spread its hellish grasp throughout every crevice of the park's underbelly. As the overgrowth expanded in size, its beating heart ripped a tear between our world and the vast universe of horrors that exists beyond our own, the never-ending void in which fear derives from. Within that universe are 2 distinct realms, one fueled by physical pain, while the other is plagued by psychological torment. At the helm of these worlds are two entities, sinister and surreal, who each embody the hellscapes they stand guard for. Yeah. We couldn't ignore that. We had to kind of include that. Hope you guys liked my my crappy reading. So we got a little bit more information, a little bit more of a description, hopefully as to where Demon Queens and Torture Fair zones are also going to take us. And I also bring that up because we also are getting an article we found out today from SFX Magazine on September 4th, so right after HHN starts. And we got two kind of excerpts from that article. It's an interview with Laura Sauls from the creative team. So one of the questions they asked is, last year you had the roaming Megan Horde. Any plans for something similar this year? And she says, no plan for something similar to that, but our Scare Zone program has some pretty awesome moments. In Duality of Fear, which is the Scare Zone right at the front of the park as you enter, you have two icons this year. They are sinister and surreal. So the Scare Zone program is based on those. Sinister being physical, visceral torture, and surreal being psychological, twisted mental anguish. What we love is their female presenting icons, and you will have to pick your path. They're not battling each other, they're a team, representing horror in its entirety, but you can pick your path. Do you go right and you take the surreal path of horror? Or do you go straight and go through New York to take the sinister path of horror, which is really, really cool. They're brand new icons. Again, back to the icons versus iconic characters debate, but that answer alone just gets me really excited for this whole Scare Zone program, as she's calling it. We also did get kind of an explanation on what the tribute store themes are this year. We also got an announcement that the 28th will be the annual pass holder preview. So that's the Wednesday before opening night. So the day after team member preview, the day before premium scream night. So right there on that Wednesday, it makes sense. The only day that I think the park is open late that week because of the other events that are happening. But there was a question, what can you tell us about the tribute store this year? The tribute store has an all-new story. It has a killer that's on the loose within the tribute store. They're taking you through an abandoned building in New York into this abandoned world of New York. But there is a killer on the loose, and at the end of the tribute store experience, you find out who that killer is. Okay. The abandoned building makes sense with the put yourself in the tribute store thing that they're selling right now. It's like non-perishable items like cans and boxes of stuff. So an abandoned building in New York, the facade is probably going to look great. I'm very curious how it's going to look in Torture Fair. But yeah, we got more information, and I'm glad that we could at least wedge it in the episode in some way. And now back to the actual episode you were listening to. But thank you for coming on the walk with me, guys. Let's go somewhere farther away now.
Let's do it.
we can fly this time. We don't have to walk anymore. I guess you gotta talk to the car and get to the airport. It's a whole other thing. Anyways, we're going over to California to talk about HHN Hollywood construction updates, both from Kevin and also a lot of other people. Tons of various sources in Hollywood up there that also take lots of great pictures as well. There was just kind of too many to source because I think almost every Hollywood person who went to Universal Studios Hollywood, all this stuff was putting out pictures. So just thank you to all of you guys who take pictures over there. It really means a lot for people who don't live there like us and get to see some things. But the first very interesting thing is that the RIP photo op, or one of the RIP photo ops, has just been put up. And if you guys don't know, RIP, like whenever you get in to I think it's like the buffet, there's like a little photo op that you can take a picture next to. I'm pretty sure that's where this is. And it is what was the name of the character on the shirt? Like it had a specific name of like a specific theme. I forgot what it was called.
Atomic Goth?
Atomic Goth. It's almost like an Atomic Goth skull guy. With like spiky hair and colorful, and he's like facing, like his back is towards you, and on the back of the leather jacket you have all the houses besides Weekend, because I guess Weekend doesn't want to be on stuff once again, on the back of the jacket. And You know, also have a Where Horror Lives logo on the bottom left, but I'm going to assume, I'm not going to say it's 100% or whatever, but I'm going to assume this is either like, this is probably the house shirt, but I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, probably. I think we're looking at both Coast house shirt right now.
Mm-hmm. Just with some
Yeah.
different houses on them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so.
It's about what I expected, I think. I might be a little off there, but it goes with the vibe we've been seeing all the merch this year, so
Yeah,
I
it
can't
fits,
be too mad.
right?
Yeah.
It's so weird. Like, this vibe is so weird because it kind of fits with Hollywood, right? Because you have the punks zone and you sort of have that atmosphere in the front of the park. We don't know when that zone was made, but you have it, right? Orlando, there's really nothing relating to this theme unless unless you count the Heavy Metal Hell and Slaughter Cinema, which is just like one film in that house. Maybe they can make the music this theme and stuff and it will work, but right now nothing in Orlando screams this. And while I know all the merch shares it, I don't know, it's interesting. It's an interesting choice because last year we had Zodiac or sort of astrology, that type of stuff, and it fit with Oddfellow because I mean that was his whole thing. But this year I don't know if it fits anything, and I really like the aesthetic. It's weird for the year, but I guess it happens, you know.
Who knows? It's a little too early to say. I would say like Duality of Fear or like Demon Queens or something could have that aesthetic. We really
Mhm.
don't know what those are going to look like. It would make
That's a good
sense that
point.
Duality of Fear could have kind of that aesthetic.
It could. It very much could.
Mm-hmm. Good point.
Yeah, I can see the art kind of being like that. So maybe that's what it ends up looking like. It's so weird because we have nothing in the zone yet, so it's hard to really tell.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is our RIP photo op. This is probably our house shirt, and we're gonna move farther from that. Back to the, I'm gonna say this wrong. I'm super sorry. But the Plaza de los Muertos. Definitely said that wrong. But
you did good.
Oh,
You did
okay.
good. De los Muertos. You did good.
I'll take it. I'll take it. But the props for that section of Hollywood, which if you guys know, is sort of like a food bar area that they have every single year, are now up. The props are coming up. There's like a car set up. There's all the usual, sort of stages with some things, and nothing really too new there. It's kind of just what it is. It's what it's been for a while, but it's an area that I think works, and Hollywood seems to really enjoy it. I figured we weren't going to have much discussion on that one. But
yeah, it looks fine.
I'm going to have, me personally at least, I hope you guys too, and we're going to have a lot of discussion on this one because I'd say one of the main theme food booths in HHN Hollywood. It's last year it was the Surfer Boy pizza food booth, and then the year before it was Killer Clowns from Outer Space Killer BBQ from Outer Space or whatever. Has now been themed this year, same location, same spot, to what it was themed in 2021. And I remember because I saw it with my own eyes, and that is Leatherface's Texas Family Barbecue, which is themed to the gas station from the original film with the Leatherface sort of twist there. And how are we feeling about this?
He got the meats. I don't know. Like, what do you want me to say about it, Jonathan?
Murdy was too busy writing his fan fiction. Then
listen, I think his fan fiction is going to be pretty good. I'll tell you. I think
Jesus.
he has some. I think he has some good stuff planned. I'm hoping, but I do have opinions on this. And it's mainly a hope, right? Because I have a little story. When I was in California, my first trip to California, for some reason, I don't know what happened, but every time I ate somewhere, I always ended up having chicken. And it wasn't like by choice. It just kind of just always happened based on the places we went. And so for HHN Hollywood Day, and we took a break and we were going to eat at HHN, I'm like, I'm going to go to Leatherface's Family Barbecue. I'm finally going to get just some other meat than chicken. I'm so excited for some good barbecue. And I went over there and the choices were like, either I think it was like chicken tenders, hot dogs, or like barbecue chicken. I'm just like, Well, I guess I'm getting the barbecue chicken then. So my hope for this year is that they have some other items that are, ribs or brisket or something than just chicken. That is my rant. I really hope they change it up this year, because that was really funny when they just had chicken.
I would die. That would be my 13th reason. Could not be me.
Jess, I think you're gonna want to take this next one though.
Oh, me? I'm the only one who ever gets to talk about luchadores monstruosos. We have new props. We have wrestling rings. We have monsters. They're honestly kind of gross looking, all of the mannequins that are up right now. I'm so into it. This zone's gonna be so bad in the best way. Like, I mean that from the heart.
I'm
Mike,
sad I can't get over there to see it, but
I know
I'm excited to see it.
The only other wrestling person I would say on the show, and
can't even. You outed me a little bit. But
hey, we gotta wear that flag.
We're with Fred.
I'll just send you pictures. We'll just put you in there with me in the ring, and we'll just be like, hey. It looks so good. I can tell that Murdy loves this silly little zone as much as it probably pains him to.
It feels like the zone, I mean, it's hard telling from pictures, but it feels like it has more going for it this year. Mm-hmm. Like, just that wrestling ring alone is like, whoa, there's some props here. There's some props in this zone.
Absolutely.
So I think it's going to be silly. I think it's going to be fun. And we'll talk about it a little bit later when we get to the Murdy tweet section, because there is some more info on that I think is exciting too. But Mike.
Yes.
Did you see the Crows wallpaper backdrop?
I did actually see the Crows wallpaper backdrop. I have no idea of in relation where this is because I'm not very good at Hollywood, but I did see the picture of this, and it's interesting.
Expand on that, Mike. What does interesting mean to you?
It looks like something you might see at your local Kroger or something, that they throw up something real quick. It doesn't look great.
Yeah, it's, once again, I get it, right? Because if you look at the picture and you look up, you can see cranes. Like, there's Fast and Furious right behind it. It's right in a construction zone. It's probably the weirdest place to ever put a zone, in that area. But I guess they just decided they wanted the extra one this year, and so I understand it. I just don't like it.
I'd like to say, Kroger, please don't sue us either. Kroger is a lovely, lovely store to shop at.
Mike covering his bases.
First thing that popped in my head. It looked like something that was, your local grocery store, unnamed grocery store. Just bleep that out.
What if I leave that whole thing in instead?
It's fantastic.
When we get the cease and desist,
Mike's gonna be like, "God damn it, Jess!
Kroger's listening to us."
Kroger, please reach out to us for any potential sponsors.
Yeah, if you want to be a sponsor, I'll talk about how wonderful your thrown together Halloween store aisle things are.
Oh my god! All right, well, yep. The wallpaper's there. Where are we? How did we get to Kroger?
We can move on from the wallpaper and move on to some more art. And I know we all saw this. We've all had thoughts on this. Basically, there's a sort of HHN, get ready for HHN sign at HHN Hollywood. Happy Halloween, and it has concept art or just sort of like the character designs of a lot of the characters from the zones. And the first one we see is the, quote unquote Frankenstein, not Frankenstein, from the Luchadores Monstruosos, zone. And we've seen that before, right? We've seen that design in the Midsummer Scream panel. That was one we've known. But we're also seeing on here a Skulls design, a Crows design, I'm pretty sure. And the one that I think we're going to talk about the most, Punks 2 Punks with a Z designs. And how are we feeling about all these designs, but I mean in particular the Punks ones?
I am choosing to ignore the signs because I don't like them. And I'm just going to see the zone with my own two eyes because boy, oh boy, is Hollywood not making me excited for these zones.
Yeah, I mean they have what is it, the Jason Voorhees mask for one of the characters in Punks. It's and like one of the masks says like this is like "kiss me" or something like that. I'm not too into like punk and stuff like that. It doesn't feel like that's the vibe I would have thought this zone would go though.
Yeah, I mean, like I guess random words and phrases on things you could associate with punk aesthetics, but that's a very general thing to like just have.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's a weird choice. It's gonna be weird against the other ones because they all kind of mingle together anyways. So I'm excited to see how they make the chainsaw chase out interesting with the punks, or how aggressive they'll be, because I know they will be.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
Oh yeah,
nicest thing I can say.
Yeah.
They're gonna scare the crap out of you.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but Hollywood scare zones are usually forgettable, right? Like,
Yeah.
I went last year, and it was a whirlwind day. Don't get me wrong. There was a lot to see and do. I don't remember anything about any of their scare zones, even the one like that was actually kind of good. I hear I guess I do kind of remember that one, the one that was like attached to Monstros. But other than that, the other two, I don't even remember walking in them. I don't really remember any scare zones in them. I could not tell you what they were. I think there might have been a crow, right?
There was a crow.
Toys.
There was crows.
I think toys, right? There's like toys.
Toys,
There was
dolls,
toys. Yep, with a Z.
Uh-huh.
because they're scary.
And
Toys,
they had
there's toys and crows. That was
no,
right?
toys and ghosts with a Z.
Oh, ghosts. Yes, and then crows was that a separate scare zone, or is that
It was a roaming horde.
roaming horror?
They were just kind of there.
Yeah, no, I can't say that I remember much about the scare zones.
I always have a great time at HHN Hollywood. I think a lot of the time some of their houses can beat our houses, especially when you're comparing IPs to IPs. It happens a lot. Not all the time, but it happens, and I really love going. But yeah, scare zones are one of the main elements that every year, no matter how excited I am for them in concept, I go and I'm like, oh, this is HHN Hollywood, and this is not their focus, and that's okay. It just is not their focus.
Yeah, I have heard that they can tend to be scary. Like, and by scary, they can try to kick you in the balls or whatever.
Yes.
They're given more freedom to be like in your face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they have scared me like quite a bit before. That I'll give them that. They can get terrifying if a scare actor sees that you're a little nervous. They're not going to leave you alone in a good way. It's going to be an intense experience. But I do want to point out, I think one of our Discord members, Hydra, brought this up, and I wanted to point this out. We have a prop, like a full-on prop, in the entrance zone, in the chainsaw zone, for the first time in a long time in HHN Hollywood. They haven't had a prop here in a while. I'm pretty sure. I'm not a California person, but I think that's true. And that is what we saw at the Midsummer Scream panel, and that is Sweet Lick's repurposed van for Chainsaw Punks that says Chainsaw Punks with an X. But it is now here. It is, like it has the aesthetics. It's all there, and it exists. It's real in the park.
Yeah. I'm excited to see it in person. I want to know why there's an X and not a Z.
That's a great question. I don't know if
Murdy,
we'll ever find out.
I'm going to ask Murdy. I'm going to find him.
Do it. Just message him on Twitter. He'll answer. He'll let you know.
I'm good. This is a face-to-face conversation, Jonathan.
Makes sense. Makes sense. And our final thing is that the walls or the construction walls are now down in front of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the Legacy of Leatherface facade, and you can see the whole thing very clearly. And I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. I don't know what you guys think. But I'm also very biased, so...
I think it looks okay. It looks fine.
It looks like a meat packing facility.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say besides that, unfortunately.
You can tell now that, like, in certain angles you can see the sort of the Sawyers sort of, painted on there, and that it's going to light up, once it becomes dark outside. I think that's going to be a cool touch of, like, the blood saying that they took over this slaughterhouse. I think that's going to be cool.
Yeah, I'm interested to see it all come together. We've kind of heard what it's supposed to be with Murdy's 45-minute rant. Rant is a strong word, but 45-minute very excited discussion at Midsummer Night's Scream. It's interested to see it all to come together.
That was a Texas Chainsaw panel. What are you talking about, Mike? That wasn't an HHN panel.
No, Midsummer. Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm making a joke that it wasn't an HHN panel.
No,
it was just Texas Chainsaw.
Basically, what else did he talk about? I don't remember.
It was that monsters, Monstrosos. Yeah,
but it was like maybe 2 minutes for each of those things. It was like 40 minutes of Texas Chainsaw.
The panel was made for me. It's like, I know Jonathan's watching. Let's just make the whole thing Texas, and I appreciated it. Let's go through the entire house, every scene. Let's go. Let's do it.
Literally, we got a whole like breakdown.
Yeah, no, we did. I feel like I don't even have to go through it. Really.
But Jess, I think you know what time it is.
Murdy tweets. Murdy tweets. I don't know how many more weeks of that we're gonna have.
No,
not many.
Wow.
No,
wow.
No. I mean,
he'll have some during the event.
Yeah, he'll tweet. He tweets randomly.
Let me tell you about this Easter egg in this house in the middle of the event. Like, yes, we can bring it back. Just one tweet, like, sure, let's do it.
Let me talk about Ireland Christmas.
Already working on next year's house treatment.
He says that every year, every single year.
Well, tell us what he told us right now.
But this first tweet here, I guess I'll read this one out. He's making sort of a lot of general tweets about all the houses because I think he's doing his final checks and stuff like that. But this one was interesting because of 2 points. He says, Monstrose 2 rehearsals went great last night. The casts are all HHN vets, and they were on point. Loved it. Also rehearsed Luchador's Monstroso scare zone, and the physicality the cast brought to the roles was awesome. I could tell who each character was without masks or costumes. And I think this is exciting for both houses because with the Monstrose 2, we have the whole cast are HHN vets, which is always a great sign when you're talking about, intensity of scares and how creative they can get. Like if they've been there for a while, that's definitely going to help. And also, it looks like the cast for the Luchador Zone is going to be on point as well, and that's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Ready. Let's go.
And Mike, do you want to take the second one here?
Sure. And he says, tonight we rehearse A Quiet Place. This is a gorgeous house with some amazing set pieces. And the creatures, both animated and puppets, look amazing. Totally different vibe than Monstrose. Totally different flavor of horror. Looking forward to getting in there tonight. Okay, so we get a little bit of a tidbit. So it's going to be both animated and puppets.
Yeah. Whenever Murray's excited about something, I get excited about something because it gives me more of a, I don't know, it gives me more an incentive to think it's going to work and it's going to be good. Him walking through this, this house that is very experimental and saying a lot of good things is, that's exciting. I hope the animated figures and the puppets and everything like that like work and they play off. But if it, like if it's anything like Chucky, I feel like they could do, it could be good and they could pull them off. So I'm excited. I think Hollywood could have if they do it right, a pretty good Quiet Place.
I hope so. And I really hope Orlando does too.
Same, absolutely. All right, so we're on to our main segment now.
Yeah, we had a lot to go over, so yeah, we still have our main segment.
And that is essentially, like we said earlier in the podcast, a speculation season / announcement season retrospective, going back to the past, very far back, talking about the rumors, the spec that didn't end up being or evolved into something else, something that we have now. And then after that, moving on to sort of just the general announcement season marketing. How do we feel about it, and stuff like that.
Well, where do we start? Should we start with the stuff that definitely did not happen? Should we start with the completely false stuff?
I like that idea. Let's do it.
Oh, right. Well, should we start at Hollywood or Orlando, or let's kick us off, Jonathan? What was the first thing that comes to your mind that was like a totally not, at least for Orlando's side?
I know what you're looking at on this outline here. You're like, oh, Jonathan should talk about this one.
Yes, because you were I'm not gonna pigeonhole you, but you were championing this.
I was, because it was an Alicia Stella thing, and I really thought that she knew something that a lot of people didn't, and she did for a couple things. Don't get me wrong. This was just one of them that, it didn't end up working out, but that's how rumor season goes, and that is the weekend zone / house for Orlando specifically. That never happened, and I think a lot of people, including myself, were thinking it might be possible because, like, why would Hollywood get weekend as an exclusive?
I mean, that's where my head was. I'm going to be honest with you. I thought it's such a big IP. There's no way that we're only going to get 4 IPs, and that they're going to, especially now that we find out that it's the trilogy, and we're getting that third album basically is being advertised. It's very strange to me that this is not over here, but it is what it is, and it's not happening.
I know Jess is happy though. Like, I feel it's like especially the zone part, because like with the zone you'd have to walk through it every night.
Yeah, you would have to hear the music. Yeah.
I could also only see the zone going in 2 different places, and that's like New York, which is the only smoking section in all of Universal. And that would be my worst nightmare, because I already had to hear Sweet Caroline last year over and over anytime I wanted to smoke. And if it was the weekend, I just did my mom like reach out to Universal and be like, hey, we're trying to get her to quit, actually. So, could you make it the weekend? That was like my biggest nightmare. Or Hollywood, which like, okay, fine, I'll deal. But yeah, I still have to see it in Hollywood, but
Jess, I'm just gonna follow you around and just play the new album on my phone.
God. No. I'm gonna go up to security and be like, he's harassing me. I do not know this man. And they're like, all he's doing is playing the Weeknd album.
He's being incredibly rude, but we can't do anything about it, man.
We know you don't prefer it, but I'm like, no. You know what? I'm happy for him. I'm happy that people are happy that he's going to Hollywood, but I'm happy he's not here.
And over at Hollywood, if you look at the main, like they have that main board, that shows like every year there's like the main IP. That's like their main headliners on that, like on that board. It's the Weeknd in Hollywood. Like he is straight up their headliner this year, which is wild that every year Hollywood gets an exclusive, but it's just like Killer Clowns or Evil Dead. They have an exclusive headliner.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, can we talk about my favorite completely false rumor?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That would be the Greek mythology original that was rumored to be. I don't, some people could argue that there's a little bit that this was, wires got crossed with the museum, but I don't know. I just think this is a complete miss. I just don't think this one. Maybe we'll get it later, but yeah, this one did not happen.
Yeah. I can see how this and something else that we're going to talk about when we talk about involved rumors, but they both kind of like, in my opinion, became museum.
Mm-hmm.
And like things just get kind of cross-wired and whatnot. And I, I'm like almost sad we didn't get this, but I'm not sad because I kind of like the bigger picture of what we got, or maybe I will. I haven't seen it yet, but uh, interesting that so far ago, like this is where we were at, and look at where we're at now with museum.
Yeah, we
Maybe it will
really.
come another season. Some of these I'm
True.
still holding out. The Japanese original from a couple years ago, I'm still holding out hope that pops up sometime.
It's gonna happen, Mike. Just 1 year. We're gonna get it. Yeah,
All
I would have.
right.
I would have loved to see this one too. I completely agree. I think Greek mythology and like even if they went like a labyrinth style or something, it would be like
Mhm.
perfect for a house. I'm sad that this is something that we're not seeing, but I'm not mad that what is the likely wires crossed one, which is probably museum, is what we're getting because I think that's a great option too. But I would definitely not be mad if in the future they go for this sort of topic again because I think it has a lot of scary stuff in Greek mythology.
Yeah.
All right. Another one that definitely I mean, I guess we haven't really gone through all of the houses yet, but I think it's probably safe to say that someone maybe just saw a prop or something. The black and white rumor.
Oh yeah. I don't know. This one always seemed a little weird to me because they've done it before with monsters, but I think that this might have been maybe like triplets because
Yeah.
it's like a story over time. I don't
Hmm.
know. I don't know. That's kind of like my only correlation I can make. Again, not seeing any house yet except a couple pictures and spoilers, but I was really hoping that we were going to get a black and white house at one point.
Yeah, I was excited about this one too, but I can't seem to think that maybe this is just one of those just completely wrong. I can't think it really evolved. Maybe it was triplets. I think the key art. I think we kind of saw a little bit of grayscale stuff in it, but based on some of the spoilers that came out, I don't think we can call it black and white.
I do hope with I think when this rumor came out, a lot of the community was like, "Yeah, this is so cool. Let's do it." Maybe the Asian designers are like, "Oh, people want to see this," when they attempt it, another year. That's my hope that wires got crossed, didn't end up working out, but hey, they see the demand is there.
Should we go to stick with the houses and do some both coast ones? Things that there was an IP that was rumored to go on both coasts, and that is Nightmare on Elm Street. That did not show up.
I forgot about
Oh,
that.
it's the saddest one. Like even more
Yeah.
so than like the weekend for me. The like this listen, I've been very adamant that I really don't like this IP lineup. I don't think a lot of people do. I think it's gonna work. I think the general public will eat it up and whatever. This is just not my thing. Personal taste. It is what it is. I think Nightmare on Elm Street, I would have been like, okay, I'm okay with this lineup just based on that property alone. Because I think there's so much they can work with. It's an iconic horror character we haven't seen in so long in Halloween Horror Nights. At least I haven't. I haven't seen him ever. And I just think it's time. It's time to have another Freddy house. It's time to go back into that world with the technology and effects that we have now. We can make something really, really special. And I hope that in the future, just rights end up working out, things end up working out, we can get them again. Just I guess it's just not this year.
Nope, wasn't meant to be. And then looks like there's a couple of houses still left, but they're both Hollywood rumors. That is one of them was the rumored Larry Larva house.
Oh, my man. I think that this was probably dead exposure. I don't know why. I don't know how I can explain that. Probably just because, like, post-apocalyptic, maybe
Yeah,
because bug
maybe.
I don't know. I
I think
really
this
just
might
think.
have been a little bit of like wishful thinking too. I think,
Mm-hmm.
or just like
Absolutely.
logic. Be like, hey, we could maybe logically could get a Larry Larva. I think that may have how this kind of formed.
Yeah. But maybe we'll see him in the future. They've brought Hollywood Harry back a few times, so it's not a no, it's just a not this year.
It
I,
makes sense that Hollywood want to do a Bug's house, and they already have a bug.
Yes.
They have a bug, icon, if you will, that they could easily, make a house around.
if you guys were to replace one of the original Hollywood houses with Larry Larva, just right now on the fly, which one would you replace, or would you replace any?
I'm good. I want to see their take on dead exposure, and then maybe I'll tell you at the end of
Mm,
the season. I'll answer that question. I think, John.
okay.
I
Bring
think
that
I
back
would.
up to me in October.
I would based on what I've seen, I would probably replace Dead Exposure. Just from that one's not really tickling my fancy too much.
That's fair. Their scarecrow was really good, though. Not in the same way ours was. That's the only reason I think I'm holding out hope for dead exposure.
That makes sense. I think I might go. See, I'd say I want to go Montrose because we're already having another Montrose in Orlando. But at the end of the day, I know Montrose is going to be better than that
Oh, Monsters
exposure.
2 is going to be really good.
It's
Yeah,
different
so it's
monsters.
different ones.
It's completely different. Yeah.
So I think I'm going to go Dead Exposure too, even though I'm probably more hyped for it. I think it just is the one that makes more sense to replace.
Mm-hmm.
Do we call it Texas Chainsaw an original at this point? It
It's like
kind of is.
monster,
IP original, like like Weekend. It's
Yeah.
like monsters original,
Mhm.
but they go through the IP holder, even if
Yeah.
it's themselves.
I mean, it's Murdy's thing. Like it's
Mm-hmm. His
from the mind of
multiverse.
John Murdy, with
Is that a
inspired by
shirt?
inspired
That's a
by
new
Texas.
shirt. We should do a "From the Mind of John Murdy" T-shirt for our Hollywood folks, and then on the back in like the Cannibal Corpse font, it says "Murdy tweets." Someone DM us and tell us if you buy that shirt. All right, what else do we got?
For Hollywood, another house that you might have forgotten because I did. Very very early on, there was the rumor that Chucky would straight up be repeated at Hollywood.
Oh
That
yeah.
Makes sense. I mean, I
Mhm.
get why this was a rumor. We thought, I think we may have started this rumor, to be honest. Just
No, it was
by,
on the map. It had a bloody knife, right? That was where that
Mhm.
stemmed
yeah.
from.
But I
But
think
that's
we were
sweet.
talking about like even last year. We're like, well, Chucky's
Mm.
coming back, right? They spent so
Oh,
much
you're
money.
right.
Like, we,
Oops.
like,
Sorry.
Yeah, like it just made sense. But when you think about it, and I think one of the interesting points of discussion here is that not only is Chucky not here, but we have no repeats this year in Hollywood. Not a single one.
no, no. I mean, we have repeat IPs, I guess, right? They've had a Texas Chainsaw Massacre house, but
Well, yeah,
this
like
weekend, but nothing, nothing like we've seen before, where they completely just, you know, change minor things and call it a,
Yeah.
there's,
right.
yeah,
I'm
there's no
happy for
exorcist.
Hollywood. Yeah, no straight up Exorcist. No, I mean, Evil Dead Rise wasn't a repeat, but like, come on, like no Horror Hotel, stuff like that. Like everything's new, and I think I hope Hollywood continues that direction in the future because just taking that one repeat out, I think helps the lineup a lot.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I am a little bit worried that just how much of the weekend is going to be repeated. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
little worried that we're going to get like 70% After Hours Nightmare and 10% the other two. Like, or
Yeah.
just hear a little bit of. I'm a little bit worried that it's going to be mostly After Hours Nightmare repeat. Gonna be honest.
I hope and this is a hope. I'm not saying I know or anything. I hope Murdy has said in past tweets, everyone's like, hey, where's this following? Are we starting off where the last house ended? He's like, no, this is a new story. So I hope that means that since it's a new story, we're not really going to go to the same places, or because After Hours, we still didn't explore everything in the music videos. There's a lot of songs we didn't hear from that album. I love them to go that way. But even if we do get, repeat somewhat, I really hope the majority of the house is just on FM. I hope After Hours is like, you know, like 25% of the house, and then Dawn FM's like 50, and then we got another 25 for the last part or something like that. That's I hope the ratio goes. I'd be happy with that. But we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have some other rumors. Can we talk about? I know we have the zones to talk about, the rumored zones, but can we talk about this batshit rumor for a second? The Harold and Kumar show rumor.
Yes.
I said the Greek mythology was my favorite. I was lying.
Oh no, this is my favorite.
This is my favorite. Just, it was one of those things that had no, there was no way this was happening. This was like, no way. I've been confident about a lot of things that just there's just no way this is happening. This was the most confident I think I've ever been about something that was definitely not going to happen.
No, and I don't even know where, what they were insinuating on the map with the castle. What, I know where this came from. This came from the maps, and it's because the castle looked like White Castle. But why? What was the reasoning? How did we get here? It had nothing to do with Nocturnal Circus. We didn't even get a second show in Orlando.
And it was in Animal Actors, which they have not used in a very long time.
And then on Hollywood's Coast, it's not even been announced yet, but it's rumored to be a Chucky thing. So this is just one of those things where you cannot believe everything you hear during rumor and speculation season.
Yeah, there are some rumors. Like I'll bite when Quiet Place was first rumored. I'm like, there's no way. It's rumored every year. I don't think it works, and it happens. But when it's so obscure like this, so weird, so interesting, it's it's probably not very likely, and it's not happening. It just didn't make a lot of sense.
I would be more likely to see Demon Slayer come than this. I think the Demon Slayer rumor was slightly more likely to come than this. There's no way that was happening.
Damn. Crazy.
All right. And then should we rapid fire the zones? Basically, there was a lot of rumored original zones. Toys, Biker Gang, Latin America original. I think there was a few others, right?
I think there was an Otis one.
Yeah.
But
an Otis zone.
I don't really think anyone who made that knew what that was. I think they just put Otis there because it just made sense. I think the other three were actually legit rumors circling around every atmosphere, every area of the community. And I don't know why, because not a single one was right.
Yeah.
And it's not even like I can understand where it came from, because none of the zones sound like these things at all. What happened? How did we get this?
It happens sometimes. The zones are that off.
Yeah, I think they just kind of had to put some stuff together. I think Toys was something. I mean, that one I really didn't expect, just because why would we borrow a zone, a Murdy zone? Why would we borrow Hollywood's zone? We can come up with something. Maybe we have a toy themed something, but it's not going to be called Toys with a Z. And then the Biker Gang one, that one was what was supposed to be. Wasn't it supposed to be Demon Dogs a little bit? There was
Devil
Dogs from Slaughter Cinema 2. So maybe there was a little bit of something there. And then Latin America original, maybe it tied into the rumored Monstros. Maybe the wires got crossed there a little bit. I don't know. but yeah, none of it came to be.
Yeah.
Just a year where all the zones were off. It doesn't happen always, but look at that.
Something's got to be a surprise. We have spec seasons that don't even matter anymore because we know things in January. So it leaves it kind of fun and exciting, Well, I'll take it.
So those were all the completely false stuff, right? For the most part. Let's get to the stuff that kind of evolved over time. These are fun for me because I like where we kind of can see kind of where the trail of a tiny little nugget that gets fleshed out over time. I like these a little bit more because you can piece together the puzzle, right? Where should we start on the evolved ones?
Let's just start right off with one that I think Jess was talking about a little bit earlier. It might have started with the what was it, with the Greek mythology one, but it's not as clear. Though there are potential, it is potential to be like the start of it, and then you move forward, and then you get to the Egyptian Museum rumor. Do you guys remember this?
I do remember this. Yes,
Where
Duff was so excited.
Yeah, it was straight up saying this was gonna be a museum with a lot of Egyptian exhibits, and either the whole thing or majority of it. That's what the rumor was pointing to on a lot of different fields around the community, and it obviously evolved because it was already museum to museum deadly exhibits, where we now know it's not just an Egyptian museum; it's just international folklore in general. But yeah. Are we happy that it sort of evolved from this, or would we have wanted it to just stick to Egyptian culture?
Oh no, I'm happy with this because personally we've had Egypt recently. So in Legends, we fully set in it. So I'm happy that we have everything because that could include also Egyptian folklore. So.
Yeah, I agree. I'd rather have the variety of cultures and things we can experience instead of just one particular thing, especially when the setting is a museum, and that is the whole point of a museum, right? To see a lot of different things, a lot of different types of exhibits and places and whatever. I'd like that idea more than let's have a museum, but just have it focused on sort of one specific thing. Makes the sets more interesting, I'd hope.
Yeah.
I know I just talked about the last one, but I have to jump into this one because I think this is the one that I think is the funniest out of this whole list about an evolved rumor. And that when the rumor first started, and the rumor first actually popped up from Alicia Stella. So, she didn't win with Weekend, but she won with this. We got Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. She said new movies, but heavily insinuated it was more Frozen than Afterlife. And that's where the rumor started. Then, for some reason, every insider was saying it was going to be Ghostbusters 1 and 2 instead, the original films, and was not going to have Frozen Empire. Then it evolved again. It went 1 and 2, but also a little bit of Frozen Empire. And then it finally went to, guys, guess what? It's just Frozen Empire. This was a really funny rumor to watch. We just went around in a big circle.
Yeah.
And yet we had it right the whole time. We just
Alicia's normally right. She has a really good track record. So
she has.
The Weekend we can forgive because you have to miss every now and again. Keep people on their toes.
And Hollywood did get it. So maybe there were just some wires crossed there.
Not completely wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this was really funny, especially as someone who personally could care less if this property is at the event. Just watching everyone be like, no, it's not. And then it really was the whole time. Y'all look so funny.
Even us, I think when the rumor shifted, we're like, see, this is cool, but that doesn't make sense. And it didn't.
Yeah.
Not when there's a whole new movie coming out and they want to promote that movie and, squeeze as much money out of it as possible.
Right. All I know is they better put the freaking car in this house or people are going to lose their minds. Well, why'd they buy that car if it's not in the parade either? So, just saying.
They said everyone was saying it was supposed to be. I think even on the official podcast talking about the parade, they said it was supposed to be in the parade. So I don't know what's going on.
Dude, that parade that's for another podcast. I'm not going to reveal all the secrets of the parade. I want to talk about the next one because we had a rumor originally that Universal Monsters was going to be a Dracula-based house. That obviously developed into Eternal Bloodlines for both coasts. So it's Dracula's daughter. I can see where this was like, we heard something, it's not wrong, it just wasn't the correct detail. So we'll give him that. The speculation led us to where we are now with Eternal Bloodlines.
I'm so fucking happy it's Eternal Bloodlines though and not a Dracula house.
You and me both. I could not do it again. I'm sorry, especially him. I need a break.
It's just too much. Granted, we're having another vampire, but I think it's going to be different enough where it doesn't matter.
It's his daughter. It's different. I don't care.
Exactly.
It's a feminine phenomenon, and I will not be quiet about it. All right, what else we got?
We those are all the highlights. There were some more stuff, but we just try to figure, point out the highlights of the spec season, some fun stuff that happened. It's kind of wild going back and remembering all that, right? It's like going back in time of all our, off-season podcasts. But now we're going to go straight to when the announcement season started, right? Marketing, announcement season, all that, how we felt about the release and how they handled it and the marketing and this and that. We don't really have to go too detailed into any of this, because it's all stuff we've just covered on the podcast very, ostensively. We've talked about it very detailed. But let's just start off real quick about not only the first reveal, but how it's actually affected the marketing as a whole. And that's Otis. That was our first thing for Bold Coast. And how are we feeling about Otis? Do we think it was a good idea, good for marketing? Because, as of now, it doesn't look like Otis plays a part, at least like in the story of the event, though he might, we don't know. But how are we feeling?
I still love him. I think he was going to be like a video marketing thing only. I didn't think we were going to actually get him in the park.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was wishful thinking that we would get him, somehow utilized just the way it'd be very hard to do, right? But it's sad that it didn't happen, and and again, I guess it's not totally sure what we are going to get. So I guess never say never, but it seems like it's probably was just a marketing thing.
Yeah, we were calling this from day one. We all were, We're all saying, as cool as this is, it's probably not going to amount to anything. And yeah, I will say, for something that doesn't amount to anything, still made a presence. Like, still has a big presence in the community for some, for good reason. It's a great little arch.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about my favorite week. And it all started with Slaughter Sinema 2 at Spooky Empire, and then we got our Orlando original dump week.
I loved it. It was like Christmas.
It was, yeah, every single day. Like, I remember that Monday, right? Slaughter Sinema happened, Slaughter Sinema happened on Friday.
Yeah.
And there was a weekend break, and then all of a sudden on Monday at 10:33, which is a random time for most announcements. Most announcements do not happen that early, just randomly. Get ready for Goblin's Feast, and everyone's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" Just the whole community went crazy when there was an announcement that day, and then that's when everyone started realizing it was going to be every day. But I thought it was such a fun week. Every day there was a surprise. I really enjoyed it. I am curious though, and my main question about this is that next year, would we still want them to have the dump? If they do, would we want to have them have the dump this early? Or would we rather have the originals spread out, maybe one a week instead of one every day? Or do you prefer to get them all out in 1 week?
I thought the dump was pretty exciting. I'm not gonna lie, and I liked that we didn't have to. I liked that we kind of got it early. I think I may be wrong here, but I kind of liked it. I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
Not everyone has to agree with me, but I would take this again.
Oh, I loved it because it almost it was unexpected, but then it came also with like an air of you expected it after the first two. You were like, oh, it's 10:33. I would run to the bathroom at like 10:30 every day at work. Be like, I gotta find out what the house is. I'm running. And then I just like wait. And then we would know. And then we had more than half of the houses in 7 days, which is fucking crazy. So I agree with Mike. I would love to see this format come back, but that I don't know if we'll get that because who knows how many years we'll have a 6-4 split, or if this is the new normal. We don't know.
We don't. Yeah, that certainty for us content creators is the best thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no more, all right, it's like around 11. Let's try, refreshing until something happens. It's now, we know exactly what timing we have to do in order to get the tweet out, the TikTok out, the Instagram, the blah, blah, blah. And it was absolutely perfect.
Loved it.
Yeah, we thought it was going to happen with the scare zones, and then we'll get to that in a second. But we thought we were going to get it twice this year, and it did not quite happen the way we thought.
Yeah.
Moving in order of how everything sort of order of how everything was happening. Hollywood had originals this year too. They have two of them, but they did something interesting with the originals, in that first of all, none of them got dropped at Midsummer. They were all got their own announcements. But with each original, a couple days before, they had teasers on their Instagram and Twitter every night, giving little pieces of concept art and details about, little animatics of what this house may be, before we actually got the original. And I'm not going to lie, that got me hyped. I thought that was such a cool thing that, we don't really do anymore. We don't do teasers for originals. We kind of just like, here it is. I really enjoyed the teasers, and I kind of want us to implement them more in the future too.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I agree. I think I like the teasing. I like the little Easter eggs, stuff like that. Anything that will get the community excited.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah. And then obviously the most boring part, but I think pretty consistent part, is that we got everything except monsters, all the IPs for both coasts, excluding Midsummer. That's always a weird situation. Were dropped pretty darn consistently. You have an IP drop either 1 or 2 weeks past, another IP drop 1 or 2 weeks past, another IP drop. I'd say this is one of the most consistent drops in terms of IPs, because it never felt like it was too long from an announcement. It never felt like it was too early either. I felt like they were spaced out pretty good this year.
Yeah, definitely. It made it a lot easier. Nobody was as anxious, throughout the season. If anything, people were like, oh my God, we got everything so early. Nothing else is going to get announced. But I think the format was pretty good, besides what we're going to talk about next.
Who wants to take that? Because I think we're all itching to talk about it. We've already mentioned it like twice before we got into it.
Oh my God. The Scare Zone, the show, Eternal, that whole, whatever was left of the event after we got, all of the IP announcements except Blumhouse. What the fuck was that, y'all? What happened?
It's literally written on the outline. I put literally what happened, because what the fuck happened?
In a year that was so consistent and so predictable, once it started, that happened.
It started strong, right?
Yeah.
We got couple of scare zones announced when we thought they were, and then it just kind of trickled off.
They were consistent until they weren't, and then yep, and then we got them, right?
Yeah.
And then Blumhouse went up, and then we got a Blumhouse announcement like a week and a half later.
Yeah.
Don't forget Nightmare Fuel. It was literally like Monday, Tuesday zone, which is like, okay, here comes Wednesday, here comes the zone. Nope. Thursday? Nope. All right. Well, Friday there's gonna be nothing, right? Get ready for Nightmare Fuel. What the fuck? And it's like, what's coming on Tuesday? Eternal Bloodlines, huh? Also, here's the other zones. It was so strange, and I know there was like a leak too that like might have affected things, but it seemed like even on the press or like the little email they gave to the press, when everything was starting, they're like, get ready for some zones to be announced and also a show. That this was always the plan. Why was this always the plan? Why was this? I'm so confused.
There's no explanation this year. There's just HHN.
Just HHN. Just like there's just Blumhouse.
There's just BH. Not even Blumhouse.
Literally, our final announcement for both coasts, technically. Enter the Blumhouse Scare Zone and Share Train for Hollywood. But our last announcement this year was the Scare Zone. Kind of interesting.
An IP Scare Zone, but yeah, it was strange. It was strange.
Adds up with this year, though. Everything makes sense now.
Exactly. We had to wait for the whole year to finish to understand the big picture.
Thanks, Blumhouse. It was Megan's fault.
Exactly.
Or Chauncey Bear, whatever, for the Discord.
There you go. I'm happy you brought him up.
I did it. Look, I did it. Yay.
You better be like in the bar, just hanging out.
Is he old enough to have a beverage?
I don't. It's a magical creature. I don't know.
I haven't seen it. So, well, there's our announcement season retrospective.
Great way to
end
it.
Weird year. What a weird year, y'all.
Fun but crazy in a good way sometimes.
Yeah. Wow.
And I guess next week all we have to talk about is our hype list, right? And then it's the event.
Yeah. Before we do our outro, though, we didn't have a voicemail, but we did have an Instagram message that I caught.
Okay. Yeah.
Ooh.
It's not a question, but it was so educational that I think all of us need to hear this so we don't say it again and we're wrong. So this is from Jonathan. This might be from Jonathan's burner account. We're not sure. Our God. Jonathan.
Oh.
I'm kidding. No, so this is Jonathan. He said, "What's up, guys? Just wanted to say I love the podcast so much. He's listening to the new episode right now, and it doesn't technically matter at all because we're talking about fictional creatures, but goblin grog doesn't make historical sense. Grog is something that was invented by the British Navy in the 1700s. Sailors were given a daily ration of rum, which they would sometimes mix with lime and sugar to make it more palatable, and that's where grog was born. So technically, grog makes more sense for pirate vibes than anything, but then again, goblins are fictional creatures, so this doesn't really matter. Keep up the good work. Y'all, much love." I love learning things, so I will not call it goblin grog anymore. We're going to find a better name for it that's historically accurate. Thank you, Jonathan.
That's fantastic. That was one of the best messages I've ever. That was amazing.
I thought we would all appreciate it because we all are hyperfixation people. So thank you, Jonathan.
Will we get in trouble from Gwyneth Paltrow if we call it goblin goop?
Ooh. But it won't be Goop TM.
No, not trademarked Goop.
Not trademark Goop. Maybe Jonathan can tell us for next week what a more historically accurate term would be. That still is an alliteration because I think that's what we're going for here is a GG.
Mm-hmm.
But
let us know.
Goblin Goop, not TM.
All right. Well, I guess is that everything we have to cover?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've finally looked at the past. We have one more day of looking at everything that we, experienced this spec season, announcement season, and now all there is to look forward and get ready for next year.
Yeah. And as always, you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at HHN365 and at TikTok at HHN365pod. We have an amazing Discord. The link is in the description. We have a merch shop at HHN365.com. You can always leave us a voicemail at 407-906-4134, and we'll see you in the streets pretty soon.
And at live trivia this Friday.
And at live trivia.
At Half Barrel.